And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ango Show Live. Wow, it feels good to say that.
Dude, we're here.
Man, about damn time. It's February 25th, 2025. Slowly but surely, I'm getting my voice back. And I'm feeling good. Energy's back.
That's what matters.
Yeah, like I'm feeling good, you know. I'm sure it'll take a little bit of time for like everything else to kind of get back to normal, but
For sure.
dude, what a freaking weekend of pro wrestling. Honestly, I mean, it's been tough because we haven't been live. So there's been so much stuff that I've just been dying to talk about.
And so many things that have just happened.
Yeah, and there's a lot, obviously, that's been happening. So ladies and gentlemen, we will definitely talk about it. If you guys want to support the stream, feel free to drop a super chat. If you guys are watching live on X or TikTok, you could drop those gifts and those donos as well. Shout out to everybody who's here. Shout out to everybody who pulled up and supported us. I know it's been a minute, and I swear to God, bro, Billy, I've been missing this shit.
Like, yeah, dude, everybody's missed you. I've been just hanging around, doing my thing, just waiting on the day. I was like, we're gonna get to it. It's gonna happen. And look at us. Look at us now.
Yeah, it's so tough too because like wrestling, I have a very love-hate relationship with wrestling right now, which I think is going to shock a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was sick, I didn't watch anything really live in the last 2 weeks, and then I was just watching like obviously when I could.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like really crazy. Friday night, I did watch SmackDown live.
Okay.
And really, obviously we're going to talk about Raw from yesterday, but
yeah,
what a sensible difference between Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that needs to be talked about, I think, too, because it's been a lingering situation for quite some time. You know, you try to cover it up, you know what I mean? And you try to be like, oh, no, they're doing good. They're doing fine. This was really good. But when you look at the show as a whole, you gotta start calling it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's like, it's not that things are like a lot illogical on SmackDown. Like we're not running into like the Vince McMahon situation where it's not like logical and there's, that issue. It's just so boring compared to what we're getting on Raw.
Now, I think that's also like if I'm gonna sit here and just be honest, I think that's a fatigue thing too.
For sure, that definitely could be a possibility.
Yeah,
I know for myself, being sick didn't help, honestly.
But like even just like real life, like every day, like Friday is the day where everybody's supposed to like cool down and be able to go hang out if they want to or whatever. Not many people, I hate to break it to you, not many people are actually thinking about wrestling on that day. It's a little bit easier for something like a Monday. You know what I mean? Because it gives you something to do on Monday versus Friday, you're trying to do a bunch.
Yeah, I know for myself personally, it's one of those things where, genuinely speaking, like I've been against it forever. I get scolded for this. I get people are like, oh, Ango just wants to sound cool, like he's got a social life and shit. But newsflash, I do have a social life.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I'm always torn because this YouTube stuff is my full-time job.
Yes.
Right. And obviously SmackDown is a very big, important part of that.
Yeah.
But you also got to have work-life balance. And I always said SmackDown should be on Tuesdays. 3 hours SmackDown is too long. Friday nights, bro, I want to go chill. I want to do things. I want to go enjoy my weekends.
Yeah.
I want to, like, I keep myself pretty grounded with the schedule with this YouTube stuff. Obviously, this month was relatively difficult because, my job requires me to have a voice. So literally 2 videos in the span of 12 days is not optimal. It's not good business. It's not fun for me because I'm blessed to actually work a job that like I genuinely love,
Yeah.
So when you miss 12 days of videos and live streaming, you get to a point where like, okay, obviously you don't have money coming in because it's a job, but it's a job that you love. So now you're not having fun and then you're sick and you're miserable.
And you're just the
worst thing on top of all that is then you're watching a show and you're like, damn, bro, it's a fucking drag. for
Yeah.
3 hours.
So while
And
sick and everything like that, you're dragging and trying to push yourself through something.
yes, yeah. So it's like it was very difficult, I think, for the last 2 weeks. Just watching SmackDown in comparison to Raw, it was very, very clear to me that Raw is just
Yeah,
better show.
yeah, and it's really just, like, little minute things, like, when you think about, like again, I think it's just, like, an excitement thing, right? So when I
Yeah.
think about, like, over on Raw with the Intercontinental title picture and how many little things are happening over there versus the United States Championship, and I'm like, you could technically have the same thing going on over here, but you're not,
Yeah.
and it feels funky, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just boring, and we're
Yeah,
gonna talk about this. There's a couple super chats I want to get to, and we're gonna
yeah,
talk about this because some things that happened on SmackDown did lead to Raw.
yes, they
So,
leaked into Raw.
I like that. There was a couple things I liked.
Yes,
It wasn't all bad. Um, I thought Raw was excellent yesterday as well, so we will talk about that.
mhm.
Richard Cohn, excuse me, dropped a $5 super chat. Hey, Ango and Billy, how you feeling, Ango? I'm happy there's new tag team champions so they could get back to singles matches. Yeah,
I think speaking about Naomi and Bianca Belair.
yeah. I'm glad they went with the title change.
Yeah, me too.
What a great way to end Raw.
That
I'm
match was
super,
solid.
dude. For somebody like me who often criticizes the women tag titles,
Yeah.
you give us more of that. Your women's tag team division is going to be great.
Mhm.
It's the right choice. Liv
Mhm.
Morgan and Raquel should win those titles.
Yep.
Bianca and Naomi definitely need to do some single stuff,
Yeah, we gotta get to that Jade Cargill story.
and that's what I'm waiting on. And obviously, Triple H is dragging it out,
Yeah.
which makes me believe that Elimination Chamber right now it's not that like I have a love-hate relationship with Elimination Chamber because it's before WrestleMania, so you don't expect
Right.
huge payoffs or whatever.
Mhm.
I am intrigued to see what they do now with this women's chamber match.
Considering
Maybe, yeah, considering the Jade Cargill story, okay, maybe Jade returns at Elimination Chamber and cost Bianca the match,
or if you
cost Naomi, or
I wanna say that'll happen, but there's also, like, a piece where it's like, okay, are Naomi and Bianca just gonna get into it a little bit in the chamber?
you don't know, man.
Yeah, no, you don't.
It's gonna
Both
be,
both of what we're saying could work.
yeah, there's a lot of ways they could go about it, but now it actually did create a little bit of intrigue for me
Mhm.
going into the chamber because now I am a big believer that maybe Bianca Belair, and maybe this isn't the popular opinion, but for WrestleMania, if you want to do a unpredictable triple threat match, you got to do Io, Bianca, and Rhea
Maria.
Ripley.
Yeah.
And I think you put those three women for the World Women's Championship. Um, I think there's a lot of good that could come from that. And that means Bianca would leave SmackDown and become a member of the Raw roster, which I think is necessary. But
Yeah.
it will be very interesting to see what they do. I was very happy and very pleased to see the way they did that women's tag team championship match because again
It was
we
a
don't
great
get
match.
things like that.
No.
And I'm gonna give props where it's due. I've been very adamant about saying, hey, like I'm not really feeling the Liv Morgan Judgment Day thing. It's
Mhm.
it's it definitely
It
is.
felt like it was running dry.
It felt like it was running dry. I felt like for some reason last night on Raw, it created more intrigue. And then Finn Balor actually came out with a tweet, which this is where you could use social media to create some more intrigue. But
Mhm.
Finn Balor was like something about being very happy for his colleagues, Liv and Raquel.
Raquel, right.
So it's like, okay, well, they're not your friends.
Right,
Like
exactly,
what's the story
exactly.
there? So
Yeah,
there is a lot there. I'm super excited about that. It was the right choice. Now it's time to get to the Naomi Jade Cargill thing
yes.
and Bianca.
Yep.
But with them dropping the women's tag titles, it did give me a little bit hope that maybe Bianca could win the Elimination Chamber. Also, next week we have Io versus Rhea for the World Women's Championship. So now we got to
Yep.
see how they're going to go about that because I feel like Io, Rhea, Bianca, like that would be a dream scenario.
Right.
How do we get there? I don't know
And
if
is
we'll
it
get there.
feasible?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shout out to Richard for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. We got another one from Tolino Channel. He dropped 100. rupees. He says, who will sell the soul? Seth, who already attacked his brother, or Punk, who is here to make money? Fuck.
Here we
Listen,
go. Let's just dive into it, baby.
we got to talk about this because obviously
Yeah.
we weren't live for Friday, but
Right.
or live Monday, but the whole situation, Billy. First, let me just get your perspective because we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of we'll kind of carry the conversation that way.
Yeah.
On SmackDown, you see The Rock come out to Cody. It's a long-winded promo, and he goes to Cody and he says, he's like, I want you to be my champion. And he doesn't want his belt. He wants him to basically sell his soul to The Rock and TKO.
Yes.
Your reaction to the segment, your reaction to the story, what are you thinking?
Okay. So before I even answer that question, I have to say that this is like a feels like there's a couple parts here that I gotta just take on real fast. Number one, this all makes sense in hindsight. Cody Rhodes, if you think about it, he's this babyface superhero. He need even after winning the championship, everybody talked last year about him going through like diversity and stuff like that and having to climb the uphill battle to finally beat Roman. Well, the problem is after you win the championship, especially as a babyface, you still have to face I said diversity. I meant adversity. Excuse me. I thought about that like mid-sentence. But even as the champion, you still have to face some kind of adversity. I actually seen a video. I can't remember who exactly it was from, but they kind of pointed back to like when Daniel Bryan turned heel with the Wyatts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a little callback to that and kind of playing into the Homelander thing. Now, that right there, that could easily make sense, but I actually see something a little bit bigger, right? And I see something a little bit better here. Cody is the ultimate babyface. WWE right now, it's kind of like John Cena. It would almost be silly to turn this guy heel because of what he's doing for the company.
Of course.
I think ultimately what really makes sense is somebody like CM Punk, who last night hinted at it. He said, I'm the devil. CM Punk has been the devil his whole career. If you look back on Ring of Honor, if you go to his time in WWE, or what was he before? You better make sure you can you can box with God. Like CM Punk has always had these references surrounding him. And CM Punk has always been this person who has had problems with the quote unquote establishment, right? Well, who better than to sell their soul, right? Because somebody who's had all these problems with the establishment as they get older are going to get tired of having to fight and scratch and crawl their way to the top. Eventually, they're just going to do what they need to do to get to the top. And right now, the person that makes that much sense is CM Punk. He came in and he told you, he said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
So let's dissect this a little bit, right? I think, all great points. When I watched the segment, there was a lot of people who were like, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably the best thing they can do with The Rock and Cody before they ever get to a Cody and Rock match. Because you got to remember, for months, everybody's like, man, The Rock and Cody drinking Terramana, Moana,
it was weird.
Premiere, best friends backstage. And Cody and The Rock acknowledged that in the segment. So obviously The Rock is saying like, yeah, man, I like you, right? But The Rock is an executive. And he has his loyalties to Ari Emanuel, and he's kind of talking about these things with Nick Khan and Ari. Why would The Rock go after Cody after they've, you see the Netflix thing, right? Everybody was like, oh my God, The Rock and Cody, babyface. All those things happen to make the most sense here.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Cody's not fucking selling his soul. Cody is not going to sell his soul. Cody is not going to be heel. It's not happening.
No.
So the good thing here is, okay, maybe there is a risk for The Rock wrestling at WrestleMania. And they've known this.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening at WrestleMania, just so you guys know, WWE has been aware of it literally since they even thought about this. Cody told everybody for months, what you guys are all predicting. No, it's not. Nobody has predicted this. Nobody thought this would be the situation.
It's not sensible.
They have very clearly planned and thought and calculated this out. So you bring up CM Punk.
Yeah.
Here's the craziest fucking part. CM Punk says he is Satan himself.
Yep.
Okay, that's a very reasonable
Person to sell their soul.
Yeah, right. Like it makes sense, right?
I mean, a person who doesn't have a soul would most likely be inclined to sell their soul.
Now, also, we can go back and talk from my old live streams where I said CM Punk heel turn going corporate. It makes a lot of sense.
You've talked about it numerous times.
We never talked about how you tie in
No.
him going corporate, but holy shit, The Rock is the answer, right?
He's the corporate man.
So corporate man Punk makes a lot of sense here. I don't think that's what WWE is doing.
What?
And if they do, I'm happy, but I don't think that's what they're doing. And the reason why, listen, look at this chamber match. Every single individual in that match, no matter what, there's not one person that is clearly untouchable from not selling their fucking soul.
No,
that includes Logan Paul, and that includes Damian Priest, and that includes Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, real fast before we continue, just big credit to him. That promo he cut last night gave me goosebumps.
Very good stuff.
Very good stuff. That man is very underrated, in my opinion.
So it's interesting because you mentioned that, and I think Seth, I don't know who tweeted it out, but it was a very fair point.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much of a gap between Cody and the trilogy that we saw with Seth.
Yeah.
That this could be really intriguing, right?
Yeah, especially now. New characters, new character development.
Exactly. Personally speaking, Seth has every reason to sell his soul. His WrestleMania moment was taken away by Cody.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins went and helped Cody finish the story, and Cody aligned with Roman Reigns after. There's so many pieces to the puzzle where Seth could sell his soul.
Yep.
And by the way, we have seen Seth Rollins. You should never trust him. He stabbed the Shield in the back, right?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Kevin Owens.
Exactly. So I love the idea of Seth being the one to sell his soul. It's not going to be Seth.
No.
I actually like the idea of Logan Paul. I know this sounds crazy. This is not popular, but Logan Paul is already hated. Logan Paul is already a guy who cheats infamously in his matches. Logan Paul has the podcast. Logan Paul is a very big entity outside of WWE. It could make a lot of sense for him to sell his soul as well. WWE utilizing Logan Paul and The Rock, and there's history between them. There's a lot of stuff. I like the idea.
So my problem with it, though, before you continue, my problem with that is I think it's a ready factor. I think you can utilize Logan Paul in that role, but it's kind of, if you go back to, just the, what was it? The Authority.
Yeah.
You can have more than one guy in this.
Yeah.
It doesn't just need to be one person. I think Logan Paul, if you want to put him in a more ready factor and you want to, again, you let him maybe go hold the Intercontinental Championship. You have this heel group just kind of running rampant. I think you could do something like that. But I ultimately think CM Punk needs to be the one kind of leading that charge.
So this is where I'm going to disregard what you just said for a reason.
Yeah,
okay?
Go ahead.
I get what you're saying, but no. Because as much as I like the idea of Logan Paul, out of everybody in this list, it could make sense for him to sell his soul. He's not going to.
Right.
And no heel faction with Logan.
Okay.
But Damian Priest is another person I just want to point out could sell his soul. They're not going to do that because they've worked on him becoming a babyface and he's done a good job. It would be too quick. But Damian Priest would actually have a lot of reasons to sell his soul and to become the corporate champion.
Wants to get back.
But nobody's talking about Drew McIntyre as the most viable option. We often talk about Drew McIntyre getting his moment at WrestleMania, and everybody thinks, oh, it's hard because it's the babyface thing. No, we have the connection to him and The Rock. Drew McIntyre, 1000% should be the guy who sells his soul. He defeats Cody at WrestleMania thanks to The Rock's help. The Rock comes out at WrestleMania, ref bump, rock bottom, people's elbow. The Rock throws Drew McIntyre on top of Cody to win the fucking match. You do it that way. That's how you book it. Drew McIntyre literally will piss everybody off. Cody drops the belt. Drew McIntyre becomes The Rock's front man. He becomes the guy. The Rock is pulling the strings. Drew McIntyre becomes the guy as a heel that holds it down. But we got to remember, we got to connect storylines. We got other things happening. What about that super group between Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens? There's an opportunity there. So the thing is, what I love about this is, yes, Punk being heel makes a lot of sense, and it would be fantastic content. Seth Rollins turning heel, selling his soul against Cody, fantastic content. And there would be a lot of reason to do it. You do it with Drew because this guy has been carrying the fucking company as the best heel and constantly comes up short.
Yeah.
The Rock was a very big integral person in the situation regarding Drew re-signing with the company. So you tell that story. You tell the story of him giving him the sword. You tell the story of Drew McIntyre being like, hey, man, like all of you guys turn your backs on the company and you do it for like, there's so many ways they go about it. But if The Rock helps Drew McIntyre win the WWE championship, all because Cody turned him down at Elimination Chamber, now this is how you successfully get Cody away from the WWE championship for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you can have Cody get into that build with The Rock and Drew and SummerSlam and whatever. I think we will see The Rock wrestle more often. We're not dumb. We know he's doing movies. But if you have Drew win the championship, now you could kind of shake things up on SmackDown with Cody not being forced to hold the belt. And eventually Cody could get the belt back. But this allows Drew to actually have a meaningful and successful title run.
Yeah,
which is something we haven't really been able to see.
I'm not opposed to that. Go ahead.
And you got to remember, it's been super difficult to map it out because you're like, Drew's the heel. For the longest time, it was him as a babyface carrying the company. Now he's carrying the company as a heel. How do you do it?
Do you think he wins the chamber?
1,000,000%.
Really? You think Drew is winning the chamber?
I think Drew wins the chamber. And I have ways of booking it. So when we do our prediction show, I will 100% map it out.
Yeah.
I have it thought out, and it's well thought out. But Drew should win the chamber 100%.
Okay.
And I think this is where you get back to what's really been planned, which is Punk versus Rollins at Mania.
Yep.
I think
you do Cena versus Logan.
Personally speaking, I would like to see Cena versus Roman Reigns. That's what I would like to see. There's a reason for that.
Okay.
But and we haven't even talked about Cena selling his soul. He could sell his soul.
Yeah, I mean, there's a potential there, but it's it seems undermining at this rate.
When you think of an idea of a faction where it's like Owens and Drew and Seth turning heel, Cody's gonna need another babyface to join him,
back him up, right?
And John Cena, Cody Rhodes, kind of like being the Avengers.
Well, I think it's kind of funny. I think potentially you can land Randy Orton in there too.
So not only can you land Randy Orton, but if you want, you could also throw Roman Reigns in the mix.
Exactly. Like there's numerous names that you could throw in that mix. Say you could do the whole like these three guys ran the company. Yeah, I could see that. So
there is a lot of beautiful aspects to it. Now, of course, I'm intrigued by John Cena turning heel. I've been saying John Cena is going to turn heel in this final run anyways.
Yeah.
Him selling his soul would be phenomenal stuff. But
that would shock the world.
But do you really want John Cena to win number 17 by selling his soul to The Rock?
That's kind of where my thought process is. Again, I've said it this whole time since this run started. As much as John Cena turning heel makes sense to everybody, and there's a lot of logic behind it, it just feels like at this, rate of the game, it doesn't seem feasible.
Yeah. Shout out to Cedric Gilmer for renewing his membership. Shout out to Cedric. Salino followed up with another super chat. He says, Rock's idea is excellent. A corporate storyline after a long time, but the execution failed due to lack of planning. Rock has to dedicate time to WWE. So the thing is, and I tweeted this out earlier today, but WWE has been very calculated and very well aware of what's happening with The Rock for WrestleMania.
Yeah, and like you said, I think I seen your tweet. Was it the one where you talked about people backstage not knowing?
Yeah, they've kept this stuff tight lid,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way it's supposed to be. Quite frankly, you know, the WWE has had this planned, and what's really really cool is that okay, you want to do Roman Reigns and The Rock.
Yeah.
Well, this storyline gets you there. Okay, you want to do Cody Rhodes and The Rock. This
This can
storyline
get
gets
you
you
there.
there.
Right.
Okay, Triple H obviously can't wrestle, but there's been a lot of talks, maybe for Survivor Series, where The Rock has his
Team
people
Rock
and Triple H
versus
has his
Team. Yeah.
Triple H, Team WWE versus these guys. You got to go all in with The Rock being an executive board member.
You
The
do.
final boss character, yes, I think on SmackDown it was a long-winded promo, but I saw something Dave Meltzer talking about, and this shit was like fucking ridiculously dumb. Dave talking about like The Rock, the reaction internally was that The Rock turned baby face and heel more times than the Big Show, this and that. Guys, use your fucking brain cells. The Rock is a board member who on Netflix celebrated. They did this hoorah. Cody
Mhm.
Rhodes is the man, all this shit. How logical is it that he says, hey, man, we've cleared up our issues, right? He fucking baby faced that on the Netflix debut. Hey, man, we cleared up our issues. Our moms are friends. We're buddy now.
Yeah.
Listen, I want you to be my guy. As the guy pretty much calling the shots here in the WWE, I want you to be my guy. Cody Rhodes inevitably says no. Well, you just fucked with me. You don't have loyalty to me.
Right.
Now I'm going to fucking beat your ass again.
And now you did it for the last time.
And now it fucking changes the game. It's very well thought out. WWE has known exactly what they're doing. And I promise you, I have respect to Sean Ross Sapp. I have respect to Mike Johnson at PW Insider. But I can confidently say whoever's in WWE that knows what is happening with The Rock and Cody and Roman and Seth and Drew, whatever it may be, I promise you guys, this is not something they're talking about to daily average Joe Schmoes. Nobody. Road Dogg probably doesn't know. Even Michael Hayes probably doesn't know. This is very tight-lipped. So I think by design, WWE puts out fake information. Oh my God, we have to rewrite SmackDown because The Rock is showing up. Well, yeah, they want you guys to think that. They want you to think The Rock is fucking everything up. They want you to hate The Rock. He's the fucking final boss, TKO board member.
He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy here.
He's the bad guy. They want you to think
that he's coming and messing everything up.
But it's not. It's part of the story.
That makes a lot of sense, Ango.
So that's the thing. They don't want you guys to know. They don't want people internally to know. And that's how it's going to be executed so well. So I think even when you look at like previous, you know, when The Rock became a corporate champion back in the day, like in comparison to this, the reason why it works so well now is because we are much more hip to what is being said online and what's being reported. And they falsify information online too to swerve people and to make people feel a certain way. They are a propaganda machine at the end of the day. So I see the stuff coming out from Dave and I see all these responses and oh yeah, they took this off, they did that. They want you guys to think that. They want you guys to know
that he took up 30 minutes of time or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That shit that they want you to think.
Now, if The Rock showed up on SmackDown and was just a heel, well, then what the fuck did you do on Raw on Netflix?
Right, exactly. That was nothing then. Yeah, I mean, him coming out, even he did the babyface thing in the beginning. You literally could tell when the transition happened. As soon as he called them all STD trailer park trash, I was like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Because at first he came out and he was like, yeah, WrestleMania, New Orleans, the great city. I was like, okay, corporate rock, got it.
It's amazing stuff. Amazing.
Yeah,
more super chats to get to. We're definitely going to talk more about this. Phil dropping a $4.99. He says, why can't we get more tag titles matches like that? These tag team titles could be perceived as more important if we got that. New champs equals right call. Yeah. It's like we said earlier.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying the Judgment Day storyline is saved, but it was definitely running its course. It was definitely getting to the point where like I was losing.
And now it's kind of gained a little bit more interest. It's kind of got me back.
Yes. And it did it at a time where the women's tag team division, and remember, Isla Dawn got fired.
Yep.
So now her and Alba Fire aren't tag teaming. So my whole curiosity was, well, you got rid of women's tag team. Like, we'll see what they do, obviously. But 100%, more women's tag title matches like that,
absolutely,
it's going to be perceived better. When you watch Raw and you see so many good things, you see the Penta triple threat, you see Tozawa and Gunther do some really good stuff.
I actually thought a lot of people were going to complain about that.
No. I think a lot of people were like, holy shit, this is like...
We can get back to that in a second. I'll let you finish up.
But yeah, like you see everything they had for Raw, and then you're like, man, how are they going to end the show? And they ended with the women's tag title match.
Even I said while I was sitting there watching it, I was like, really? This is the main event?
Which was shocking to me.
Yeah.
We had such a great promo with Cody and Seth. We had so many great moments. Wow. You gave us the women's tag titles as the main event, which, by the way, you did a phenomenal job producing this match. Oh, and you have new champions. Okay. Is this a situation where, Liv and Raquel win the tag titles, which, by the way, they're the first 3-time champions. Great.
Yep.
But did you just do a title change and that's it? No. It feels like they actually have a plan here.
It does.
So for the first time, I could genuinely say it piqued my interest. By the way, there's a lot of people who have been critical of Liv Morgan. I think last night completely changed it, where now Liv Morgan has kind of gained some new respect from people.
Yeah, she looked like a beast out there.
Like, I think she officially cemented herself as an actual player.
Yeah, for sure.
She picked up the ball when Rhea got injured. She ran with it. Personally speaking, I was getting disinterested and bored with the Judgment Day.
Yep, same.
But they needed to pivot. Instead of giving the belt to Charlotte or Becky, they did something different, and it worked. And it worked for Liv Morgan because now Liv Morgan's main eventing, and Liv Morgan is actually having good matches. And now you could do some stuff with the women's tag team division.
I love it.
Instead of just giving the belts to a random tag team, they kept it moving. So 100% agree with Phil. Very happy to see what they did there. Richard dropped $2. He says, tell Seth to stop dipping in Becky's closet.
Man walked out in the raincoat.
We all know he's got to make a change.
Yeah, he does. Definitely.
We all know he's got to make a change.
I'm not gonna lie though. Even I was like, bro, are those bell bottoms?
Well, I don't know.
He was in bell bottoms and boots.
I don't know what the fuck Seth Rollins be wearing, bro.
Hey, look. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't know.
It's going to be real crazy when Seth Rollins starts coming out in just a black t-shirt and black pants and boots.
Yep.
And it's just going to be such a different vibe. It's going to be a different vibe when he turns heel. And he has every reason to turn heel.
Because he stops catering to the crowd.
Yeah. When that happens, we're going to get some very good stuff. So
little does he know that wearing the black boots, black jeans, and black shirt is definitely catering to the crowd.
Bro, it's going to be so heelish. So heelish. Shout out to Richard for the super chat. Tolino Channel says, Owens' promo on SmackDown is spot on. It gives depth to a friendship and betrayal and what's going inside his mind. It's a money feud after Drew versus Punk. So...
I was just going to say, even last night with Sammy, it was crazy because they're answering the questions that I think like we've all had.
Yeah.
Of being like, oh, like, why are they still doing this thing? And Sammy broke it down in such a good way yesterday where he was like, we're both not in a good headspace.
Yeah.
We're both kind of, what are we doing? And we just seem to, right now it's just we've fallen in this line to where we're meeting one another again. But truth of the matter is, with the whole carrying cross thing with Sammy and Kevin already being turned, it's like neither of them are really in this good space. Sammy's in a state of confusion while Kevin's in a state of anger.
And yes, so I like that. And that's well said. Also, I think, we talked before on the streams about Sammy having that situation where he's going to be jealous of Jey when he wins the title.
Yeah, I
And
stand by that.
I think, we'll talk more about it on the prediction show,
Mm-hmm.
but they're doing an unsanctioned match.
Yep.
Kevin Owens and Sammy, I mean, two really fantastic storytellers here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be in Toronto. It will be match of the night.
Oh, for sure.
I think what we saw between Kevin Owens and Cody was so special at Royal Rumble. I think this tops it.
Yeah.
And I think this really jumpstarts a massive 2025 for both guys.
I think so too. I think you're going to see a really, like, truth be told, if there's anybody, and I know we haven't even got to Jey winning the title, but I definitely think Jey will. So, but even if not, I definitely see a world where Sammy wins that title.
Oh, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he will. He will take it off of Jey Uso.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of great things there.
For sure.
Shout out to Tolino Channel. Phil dropping another $4.99. He says, the greatest trick the devil ever did was make you believe he didn't exist. Punk selling his soul to the man that took his main event years ago. Well, also, the thing is with Punk, what I love so much about this is that Punk has been, he's been the guy where I think he's such an obvious choice, right?
Yeah, he's the easy choice.
Which I don't think you go wrong with Punk, right?
No.
But what's funny about Punk is even weeks ago with his promo with Cody, like, hey,
we're friends.
We're friends.
I'm gonna stab you in the front. Mm-hmm.
So the thing about Punk is he's actually made it really, really clear that he's capable of this.
Mm-hmm.
What I find interesting though is for Punk to get his WrestleMania main event, he had to sell his soul. Think about that. The guy who would never sell his soul to the corporation.
And you
He's
can
always
even
been
call back
anti-corporation.
You can even call back to, like, the buy one get one free extravaganza. Like, there's so many things that this guy is just shitted on WWE.
Yeah.
To be the one to be like, yeah, I gotta do this. I mean, you want to talk about the most heel shit you can do? Dude, that's it.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. Dude, what a crazy thing. Shout out to Phil for the super chat. Myra dropped a $9.99. Shout out to CM Punk coming out in a Chicago Teachers Union shirt, knowing Linda McMahon is the head of Department of Education. Not on my 2025 bingo card, but my level of respect and acknowledgement went up. It's interesting because Punk, he is relatively outspoken about issues and things of that nature, right? Like he's always kind of like whatever he stands for, whatever he believes in, whether it was in WWE or AEW, he's always been vocal about things. It's a different WWE, right? It's a different WWE. It's not a McMahon company anymore. And if you guys missed my video today, Vince McMahon is starting a wrestling company. And Vince McMahon is starting a wrestling company that's going to be on Fox. And I mean, it's just crazy to think about. Times have changed, man. This WWE is not the same company. So CM Punk doing this and CM Punk being that guy, I think for a lot of people, they respect that about Punk. I also think for WWE, obviously Triple H's mother-in-law is Linda McMahon. Does that cause friction between them? No, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario just to see what he gets away with and what he doesn't get away with. But Punk, you could tell in WWE, he's happy, man. He's happy. And because he's happy, I think it shows. I definitely think it shows for sure. So shout out to Myra for the super chat. Joshua Ham dropping $2. What do you think of what AEW did to Rosa? Didn't talk about this much, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. AEW's last few episodes of television have been some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what change they made behind the scenes, but whatever they did has obviously helped.
Yeah,
That was embarrassing.
for sure. It looked sloppy. It looked goofy. Just not a good look.
They have done a terrific job making Thunder Rosa look like shit, and a terrific job making Penelope Ford look like shit, and Megan Bayne looking like shit. That was very. That episode was so good too.
Oh,
and
dude,
that right
MJF
there.
and Hangman Page was great.
But I see that women's segment, and
Yep.
I'm like,
Well,
post-match stuff. It was bad.
yeah, I look at that and I'm like, well, here we go again.
Like it was bad, and I don't know if people are just. I don't know if people have understood this, like from a different perspective than mine. Like I don't know if you guys understand it differently than me, but the way I kind of looked at it was it looked very, very, very minor league.
Yes.
It almost looked like it was positioned to make people look bad.
Yeah.
There was some talk about not accidental, but like not having production meetings and things of that nature in AEW.
Well, because there were so many things that could have potentially happened in that segment, whether it had been the ref was supposed to do something, whether it was supposed to be somebody was supposed to hurry up and rush out of the ring. Like there were just numerous things that, somewhere along the line, something went wrong.
Something went wrong, yeah. So that doesn't help, and it doesn't make Thunder Rosa look good, and I think that was really stupid. So
yeah, I agree.
Shout out to Joshua for the super chat. In digital films dropping $13.99, I think CM Punk wins the chamber, and his favor from Heyman is for Reigns to help him in the main event at WrestleMania. Cody doesn't sell his soul to The Rock and loses everything. So maybe Reigns, Heyman, and Punk aligning together
with The Rock.
It's I listen, personally speaking, I think my idea of Cena, Roman, I just like my idea of Cena, Roman, and Cody aligning.
It would be cool, but this shit, you have to remember the favor.
Yeah, I know.
I think I had mentioned something. I made a video right after it happened. I had mentioned something in my video saying, Heyman in the favor. And I couldn't pinpoint exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah.
This isn't a bad idea, man.
Definitely not a bad idea. What I like about this idea in particular, though, is Heyman turning on Roman. I'm sorry. Heyman helping Punk while not turning on Roman intrigues me.
Me too, because we're all speculating that he's going to turn on Roman.
But we can't forget about the Royal Rumble, Punk, Rollins, and Roman. That's the only reason why I don't think this works. I like the idea, but if we acknowledge what happened at Royal Rumble, I think it's very difficult to pull this off in a way that makes sense. And I think Triple H is so long fucking term that whatever Punk and Roman and Seth, we might not even see stuff from that until SummerSlam. So that's why I do think my idea is probably the most logical, where it's like, man, you have Owens, Drew wins the title, Owens and Seth turn heel. They become this new corporation with The Rock.
Yeah.
Bro, you put in Solo Sikoa. You can't forget it. Maybe even Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa don't have a match at WrestleMania. We got to see what happens there. But they form this like super group.
Yeah.
Well, then imagine Cena, Cody, Roman. Okay, you need more people. Bring in LA Knight. He's super still on fire. Okay, maybe you bring in AJ Styles as a top babyface. Like there's things that you can do there. Who knows? That's what's crazy about this. It's super unpredictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd agree.
Brian McHattie dropping 5. He says Drew wins chamber, but where's the payoff of the Bloodline Roman Cody Rock angle?
Well, we just kind of explained it.
But the way I look at this is WWE Triple H is very long term.
Yeah.
You slightly pivot towards this, and
then you can transition back.
You not even really transition because it's all interconnected.
Right.
But you want to do Cody and Rock, you want to do Roman and Rock.
You can find your way back to it.
You find your way back to it through this.
Yeah.
And the best part is The Rock doesn't have to be on TV every single week. But we know The Rock is there.
Yeah.
And we know The Rock is involved. And then also when The Rock is ready to wrestle, WrestleMania 42. For all we know, Rock could be wrestling at WrestleMania 41 too. Like we
don't know anything yet.
But WrestleMania 42, dude, imagine Roman Reigns, the biggest fucking babyface, versus Rock, the biggest heel.
Yeah, that'd be
keeps
great.
Roman away from the title, keeps The Rock away from the title.
Right. That'd be good stuff. And now I wanted to ask you real fast, maybe what you thought. The idea that kind of pivoting away here, but it kind of all intertwines. Having the Elimination Chamber match open up the show, the men's.
No, it's going to main event.
You think it main events?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, this is where it's tough. An unsanctioned match is happening.
Yes, exactly. So my thing about it is if you have that open up the show, that can bleed into Cody and Rock's segment that's taking place.
I think they have the women's chamber open up.
Okay.
Then I think you have perfect. You have the women's chamber open up. Men's chamber is the co-main event. The Rock segment right after. Then you shut off all the lights. You shut off all the LEDs. Take off the sponsors. Off the ring mat. Take off everything. Do it the right way.
There's going to be NXT style, Ciampa, Gargano.
Like straight up.
Unsanctioned.
Truly unsanctioned.
This is not supposed to happen.
Low key, I know they probably wouldn't do this. No commentary.
Nothing.
Literally bare bones. The referee, not even in a WWE t-shirt. Like.
Make this shit unsanctioned.
And let them go for 50 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. They're in Toronto.
Lights out for not the entire match. I mean, you got to have it lit somewhat.
Yeah.
But no LEDs, no Trons, no graphics. I would even go as far as saying, like, I know they won't do this, but I wouldn't even say it, like allowing them to do entrances with ring announcers.
Yep.
Like I would literally have them.
This match is not supposed to be involved in WWE's product.
Yeah. No branding whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it, but that should be the main event. But technically speaking, because it's not sanctioned, it's none of this, WWE acknowledges the chamber being the main event.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't hate that.
Shout out to Brian for the super chat. Toledo Channel said Thunder Rosa is a guest on Busted Open podcast reviewing WWE moments, including Ricky Stark's return. Does this get under AEW's skin? I mean, it shouldn't.
Right.
It shouldn't.
It's just somebody who's a friend.
I think everything gets under AEW's skin, but
at this point, yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't. It shouldn't at all. Toledo Channel says, are WWE recreating Austin versus Rock WrestleMania 17? I think there's inspiration.
For sure. I don't know if it can be recreated. Obviously, that's a moment in time, but inspiration for sure.
I think we're seeing something even more special. I swear.
Exactly. I just feel like the way WWE is now, it's hard to even go back so far in time and try to compare it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. But also, I think, too, one thing that's not being talked about is how different it is now with Cody, for example. Like, Cody left AEW, bro.
Yeah.
He started a wrestling company and then left it. And now he's the biggest wrestler in the business. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yep. It's insane.
Yeah. Brian McHattie dropped it 5. Excuse me. Are we seeing the board of directors, Vince Angle, on a larger scale with The Rock? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way bigger scale. We're seeing again, the internet is so prevalent these days
Mm-hmm.
that we are seeing something incredibly insane.
It's bigger than that. It's on such a larger scale.
And The Rock is even more famous.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's insane, dude. It's insane. I would say too, if you look at the way it's positioned today too, when Ari Emanuel was, which by the way, this was the biggest fucking hint that they've known what they're doing. But Ari Emanuel was on Pat McAfee's show weeks ago, and he literally came out and was like, "Things are planned for Elimination Chamber. It's going to be big," you know. When you look at Ari Emanuel doing media,
Yeah.
and this guy says, "Hey, I'm not involved creatively, but every single day I'm involved in the business aspect of things."
Yep.
And he was an agent and he's a negotiator and he knows what he's doing. WWE is very clearly planning ahead.
Oh, for sure.
They know they have mapped out for even next year too.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Maybe not every single minute detail, but they know everything. So I think it's a little bit different when you look at the board of directors and this angle that they're doing now, and you try to compare it to anything in the past. It's just so different.
Yeah.
It's just so different. It's not apples to apples. But I think if you look at it from the perspective of like what they can do long term, Triple H is a visionary and understands those things that happen at Royal Rumble very well could play into WrestleMania this year.
Agreed.
Or it could be WWE saying, no, you're going to wait even longer.
Right.
Imagine if Roman Reigns was in the chamber. That means he has to get pinned.
He does. He does.
Right?
That's why he's not in there.
Why would Roman sell his soul to be Rock's champion? They just turn Roman babyface.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense.
No.
A lot of crazy stuff happening.
For sure.
Myra dropping 1999. She says, given what you said, I'm curious if the situation with Thunder Rosa happened because she came out and spoke highly of Ricky Starks, called him a friend, and that she was happy for him. CM Punk said it best, can't name his friend because of backlash. Yeah, I mean, dude, the sad reality is this. It's well documented that there's pettiness backstage in AEW.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ricky even went out and said it.
If they're bothered of who's friends with who and them praising each other,
the problem.
It's weird because you don't hear of WWE stars getting flack when Drew McIntyre openly praises people in AEW in interviews, or
nothing happens. He did something with Brian Cage. They worked out together.
Bro, like this stuff is like nobody in WWE cares, man. Nobody cares. And the reason why they don't care is because at that point you are being a fucking control freak.
Right. At that point, you're playing
being,
too much into the narrative.
Yes, man. They're different companies, but people have friends in other fucking companies.
Right.
It's so fucking stupid. The company that fucking hates, and this makes no sense to me. God damn it, I'm going to lose my fucking voice even more. This company is a company that has been so pissed about people celebrating their friendships in WWE. Meanwhile, when people like Bayley go to an AEW show to support Mercedes, or when these wrestlers from WWE actively tweet congratulations to certain talent winning titles or doing cool things or having good matches, nothing happens to them in WWE.
But in
nobody
AEW,
fucking bats an eye.
If you look at every AEW tweet that's ever congratulated somebody, it's never tagged somebody. It's always been like a almost like a subtweet, right?
Yes.
Nothing has been direct.
Bro, you had people in WWE happy for the Hurt Business. You had people in WWE who were happy to see all of these title changes and these cool matches. Yep. It's not that big of a fucking deal, bro.
Bro, you're allowed to have friends.
Ricky Starks goes to WWE. They should be fucking happy for him. And guess what, guys? That's completely fucking normal. Yeah. It's a human thing to do. You know what's not a fucking human thing to do? To be pissed and petty. And at the end of the day, you have fucking Roman Reigns doing interviews publicly fucking talking about his relationship with John Moxley.
Yeah.
And over there, he's doing cool stuff.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Fucking petty bullshit, bro.
It's stupid.
People, I don't give a fuck about what companies you guys like or don't like. The shit is so fucking ridiculous, bro.
And it's lame. It's lame as hell.
It's lame as fuck. You sound like a loser when you get your ass feelings fucking hurt because, oh, so-and-so did this or so-and-so said this. You know, fuck that shit, bro. I'm so tired of this goddamn thing. I fucking, listen, like it's funny because people, we've gone through this a million times. People don't really give a shit to ever talk about, like, they just want to paint a picture that Billy and Ango are anti AEW or
when that's not the
WWE.
case. That is not
Like,
the case.
Bro, honestly, go fuck yourselves.
I've said it numerous times, bro. Nobody's trying to shit on AEW. If I didn't feel like I needed to shit on AEW, I would not.
You know, the thing is, last few episodes have been really good TV.
And I've even gone out and said it was like, oh man, this shit's great.
For fucking years, I've been saying this. They could do sometimes even the coolest shit in wrestling. Unfortunately, it's just every once in a while they do it. They're not as consistent. I want consistency. Okay, if that makes me an AEW hater, cool. God bless you guys.
It all falls back on the follow-up, though.
Everything follows up on follow-up.
Yep.
Everything falls on that. And the reality is this. I personally judge every single week, every single day, daily, micro analysis. That's what it is. Lazy fucks are not going to go back and listen to what I said a long time ago. So here's what I'm going to say today, and I'll remind you guys. This whole AEW versus WWE thing is imaginary.
Yeah. It never existed.
There's people in AEW who are butthurt about WWE, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. And I will never give a fuck. You know why I won't give a fuck?
Why?
Because at the end of the day, I'm watching a TV show. So those people in AEW who want to be petty, that's fine.
Right.
Give us more Thunder Rosa awkward segments, post-match stuff with Megan Bain. See how that helps your company.
Yep.
Stop taking everything so fucking goddamn personal in pro wrestling.
Yep.
It's fucking TV.
Let it be TV.
And if Tony Khan and AEW, or if somebody's trying to undermine their own fucking talent, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, you suck.
Same thing in WWE. Same thing in WWE. Same thing in every company. Let me just say this very clear. If you're willing to undermine your own talent on your own television product that you're putting out every single fucking week, where you're trying to get people to fucking invest money and time into your fucking product, and you're willing to go make your talent look bad, go fuck yourselves. Triple H, Tony Khan, I don't give a fuck who it is. If that's your mentality, instead of putting out the best fucking product and having the best possible morale and having the best possible fucking company to work for, if your mentality is to make your people look like shit, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to run a business and you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's fine. You're going to be richer and more successful than me than ever, because that's just how life works. And I don't give a fuck. I don't support that type of shit and I don't tolerate it. I personally would like to think Tony Khan and AEW were not dumb enough to make that fucking happen. I would like to think so. But then again, too, Tony Khan, you never know.
Right.
Shout out to Myra for the 1999. Phil dropped a $9.99. He says, Cena wins Chamber. Punk goes to Heyman for the favor. Rock tells Cody he has to wait until night 2 to defend. Cena versus Punk main event of night 1. Winner gets Cody night 2. Punk wins and sells his soul.
See, that's just too deep for me. I feel like though, whatever's about to happen is going to be right in front of our face, and they've been telling us the story for a long time.
The thing that I don't like about this is if Cena wins the Chamber, why is Punk's favor bigger? Like, how is Paul Heyman the one who's able to pull this off?
Yes.
Unless we find out that Paul Heyman is in cahoots with the bloodline. Rock's bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the only way.
But I think there's some holes in that logic.
Yep.
So they would have to explain that. But Punk's favor shouldn't be excuse me. Punk's favor shouldn't be a priority over an elimination chamber. It would discredit and ruin what the elimination chamber is, which is the number 1 contendership.
Yes.
However, if The Rock comes in
Mm-hmm.
and let's say Cena wins the Chamber and The Rock comes in, then I think it's very simple. You don't do anything night one with Cody or Rock and Punk.
Yeah.
You do Punk and Roman at WrestleMania, and you do Cody versus Cena at WrestleMania with Cena turning heel, selling his soul.
Yeah. I think it's right directly in front of our face. I actually don't hate your Drew stuff because I could see that making sense in this world, but I genuinely think this is all directly in front of our face.
I think the Drew thing just makes the most sense, and it's so rewarding for Drew.
It is because of what Drew's done, and people coming out saying like, "Oh, he should leave the company." Like, there's a lot of things. Drew stayed strong, so I don't hate that.
I also think that like Drew, I think Drew is the best example here. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it changes the game for SmackDown. I think Drew winning that belt would be better. And dude, if you want Cena to win number 17 as a babyface,
Yeah.
I mean, this is how you do it. You have Cena beat Drew at some point.
Yeah, but he's also not tied to a show.
For sure. But you have Cena beat Drew, and then you have Cody versus Cena for his retirement.
I like it.
There's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah.
So many different things they could do. So many things. What I will say, though, I don't prefer it, but I could see whatever happens with The Rock, they could do night one leading to night two.
Yeah.
I think that's a new system that WWE wants. We saw it last year.
Yeah.
It was very successful.
It bleeds into it.
So I think that would be huge.
Mhm.
So shout out to Phil for the super chat. Appreciate you, my boy. Richard Cohn dropping 5. He says somebody's going to sell his soul to The Rock. We just have to wait. Wait, that it's you and Billy should write for Tony Khan. Yeah, Tony Khan. Listen, guys, I'm gonna just leave it like this. Apparently, Tony Khan don't fuck with your boy.
I didn't know. I didn't think you were gonna say it. He
fine.
said it. He said it.
It's fine.
Ango's withholding me from a job.
I'm not withholding you from shit.
Never gonna be able to get a job dealing with you.
I ain't withholding shit. I just apparently Tony Khan don't like with your boy.
Tony doesn't like people who have friends.
Man, listen. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's well documented. Those first few years of AEW.
Big fan.
Big fan. Put my money where my mouth is. I did what I did. I supported that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they needed my money, but because I genuinely enjoyed
watching the show,
I enjoyed what they were doing, what they stood for. Yeah. Just turns out that like every other billionaire, Tony Khan's a big fat fucking liar. Straight up.
He's the same. He's no different than any other
up.
billionaire.
I personally don't give a fuck what anybody tells me. Tony Khan and his company has directly lied about what their company is. They've always been that way. It just turned out to be even bigger and bigger and bigger. So, the thing is, at the end of the day, I think like AEW tomorrow could put on the most impressive show. And I'll watch it and I'll tell you guys it's the most impressive show. If it's just like I said, the last few episodes have been really good. I think Revolution is going to be a phenomenal pay-per-view. Yeah. They're doing a really good job of building towards Revolution. Doesn't change the fact that they fucking dropped the ball building the other bullshit, Grand Scam. So
Grand Scam, baby.
Yeah. So listen, and I'm just saying that personally speaking, Tony Khan, I hear he just don't rock with your boy.
All right.
And so, and I've always been, it would be fun to write for a wrestling show.
For sure. It just
full time.
Be AEW.
I probably wouldn't listen, bro. I don't think people realize this. I swear to God, I love my job right now.
Good.
I love this is the
I will
thing that
say
I love.
YouTube is like the coolest thing that I think somebody can do.
This is by far the funnest job I can personally have. This is
It's
the thing
most
I'm most
fun.
passionate
Funnest
about.
isn't a word.
Funnest, most fun. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to be grammatically correct.
I'm the word, please.
All
Never
I'm
wrong
saying,
everybody in your comments.
all I'm saying is that I love my job. And at the end of the day, this is my job.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that working for WWE and AEW would not be as much fun as I have with this.
Yeah.
It would pay a lot more.
For sure.
It would be life-changing. But I don't feel like I would feel as fulfilled as I do with this. Shout out to Richard for the super chat. Myra dropping 1999. She says, can't forget the honorary Penta super chat. Commentary presents him so well. And Ludwig and Pete Dunne feel so important being associated with him. Maybe just me being a Penta fan. However, it still feels surreal. He's on Monday Night Raw.
So look, him last night losing, they protected him so well yesterday.
Yep, as I expected.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Penta's amazing.
Dude, every week his entrance gets better.
I know, with the lights.
They have something so special with that Intercontinental division. That mid card on Raw is so special.
It is.
And
I'm really leading into your 6-man ladder match. It's happening for sure.
The best part too is, and I think Myra really hit this on the head, Ludwig and Pete Dunne feel so important.
Oh man, everybody does.
And it's like so cool because you see Pete Dunne from NXT UK. You see him in NXT and he goes out there and has bangers.
Yeah.
Then you see him on the main roster and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do with him. Guys, it's simple. The men's mid card on Raw, just go out there and fucking wrestle. Just go out there and wrestle. And then you have fucking Penta go out there and he's going out there and he's wrestling, but he's selling. He's selling the moves. So now he's making Ludwig and Pete Dunne actually feel like a threat. It just don't get better than that, man.
Yep.
Penta on Raw has been very enjoyable to watch. Also, Braun Breaker and Dom Mysterio last night was really fun to watch as well.
For sure.
So it gets me really excited about what they're building there.
Mm-hmm.
And my hat's off to them because they should be replicating this on SmackDown.
They should. It's the same formula. The problem is I just, like I said, I think that's a fatigue thing.
I don't know. But on SmackDown, well, not the mid card on SmackDown. They have the guys. They're just not.
It's just not good.
I don't know what it is. Andrade Carmelo should just wrestle a million times. I think you can't forget about. I don't think you could forget about that. And I think honestly, like, I don't know. When I saw SmackDown, and R-Truth is funny as fuck, you know, and it's cool. There's like the comedic moments, but the mid card on SmackDown, I'm watching The Miz and the tag team match with Carmelo Hayes, and dude, I'm sorry, just SmackDown has. I feel like I've lost my interest a little bit on SmackDown.
Yeah, me too.
Some things on SmackDown are great. And then there's just things where I'm like, man,
well, you get boring. Random shit like The Rock showing up and you get the Cody segment. It's like, oh man, that's awesome. You know, I want to tune into that. But then it's like R-Truth and The Miz and LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes. It's like, well, where the fuck did that come from?
That Shinsuke gets involved. I don't know. I think, and I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm always going to be a big fan, but Braun Breaker is holding it down as Intercontinental Champion, and he's doing such a good job as Intercontinental Champion. So when you see guys like Penta, Ludwig, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, Dominik Mysterio, some of these guys, you're thinking immediately like, cool, they got something there. We talked a little bit about Tozawa. Get him away from the comedy character, bro. Put Tozawa on SmackDown. This fucking guy could wrestle. Let him go back to that, bro. Yeah. He can wrestle. Let him go on SmackDown and wrestle. Let him be part of the US title picture. You don't need to do comedy all the fucking time.
No, you don't.
You know? Like there's a place for comedy characters, and Tozawa's a great comedy character, and his life is made in WWE and he gets paid extremely well and he's happy there. But dude, let him go on SmackDown. Let him go and have bangers. You know, like you could fucking make it happen. Penta on Raw is joyful to watch.
I agree.
Tolino Channel says, what's your take on Elijah on TNA? He could trigger the crowd as a heel and face. What pulled him back in WWE was the creative. This is the opportunity to develop his character, also incorporating taker moves. Yeah, I love Elias joined TNA.
Yep.
They stole
Joe Hendry.
Yeah, they stole him from ROH AEW.
Yep. Good.
Dave said that he was going to AEW.
And
he was wrong.
Nope, he did not.
So
I like it. I loved it.
I think with Elijah and TNA, it's a perfect place for him.
Yep.
Heel babyface. I'm good with it.
He can tell stories.
And TNA, obviously, they're really good with presenting characters.
Yep.
Him and Joe Hendry main eventing against the Colognes was weird, but
interesting.
Yeah, what an interesting choice. But the Colognes are in TNA, and that helps the tag team division, so I'm cool with it.
It was cool seeing the Colognes.
Yeah, Primo and Epico, man.
Yep.
Crazy. Shout out to Tolino Channel. D-Rec Tube dropping 2. He says, Drew is once again the chosen one.
Yep. Chosen by The Rock.
But it's so different now.
It is. It is. And technically, you know, his hatred for Cody could just be more than, you know, how could Rock choose you over me? Technically, he's not the chosen one.
I just imagine he goes and hits a Claymore on Cody. Cody kicks out.
Mm-hmm.
Drew gets him up again for another Claymore. Hits the ref by accident.
Love it.
The Rock shows up. Rock bottom. People's elbow.
Why not?
Money, money, money.
Good TV, baby.
Bocce Ball Pro dropping first ever super chat on the live show.
Shout out.
Cody turns down Rock. Punk wins the chamber. Rock says he doesn't care. He's main eventing. Punk calls in his favor for Roman to take out Rock. Punk Cody Mania Night 2. It's a little too much, in my opinion.
Again, I think it's all straightforward.
Yeah, I think it's more simple than this. However, there is one part about this that is nice.
What's that part?
If the favor, he owes him a favor. We don't know what the favor is. The favor is at any random time when Punk needs it.
Just know it's a favor.
If he gets Roman to help him, especially after what happened at Royal Rumble, damn well you know you get an amazing feud out of Punk and Roman after.
Yeah, facts.
Roman only doing it for Heyman.
Yep, that's it.
So there is something there. But I think this is a little too complicated. Not a bad idea, but I just think what they're going to be doing is way more simple than what we think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Shout out to Bocce Ball Pro. Phil dropping another one for $4.99. Braun has met so many people over the last few months. Penta, Ludwig, Sheamus, Dom, Finn. Are we setting up a 6-pack challenge for IC title at WrestleMania?
It's going to be a ladder match.
It's got to be the ladder match.
Right. It has to be in a ladder match.
Ladder match.
Like a 6-pack challenge.
Or, I don't know if they would do this, but I wouldn't be against it just because of how cool it's been in NXT. And I think they'll keep it in NXT. But I wouldn't mind an Iron Survivor match.
Something along those lines. I wouldn't hate that. I just don't see them doing that at WrestleMania.
But it would be sick.
It would be.
The concept would fit very well for WrestleMania. And it would fit very well for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be. Oh.
That'd be good.
And the cool thing is, right? Like if you want Sheamus to win the IC title, you protect so many people in the process.
Yep. Only one person has to take the pinfall.
And if you want Penta to win the title, then you're protecting so many other people. But if you want to protect Penta, if you want to protect everybody else, there's so many ways to do that with this multi-man match. It just makes so much sense.
It does.
Crazy.
Very.
That was the last super chat. Coming up on an hour and 15.
Yep.
A phenomenal stream.
Amazing.
Guys, I feel good. I don't have any symptoms other than I just lost my voice.
That's it.
That's literally it. So I'm working on getting my voice back. I'm sure talking for hours and hours doesn't help, but
Nope.
I'm feeling good. So I plan on being back live tomorrow.
Yep.
What a great stream though. I appreciate you guys all. Absolutely obliterated it. Billy, shout out to you, bro.
Always, brother. I appreciate you.
Guys, if you're not subscribed to Billy TKO, make sure you subscribe to Billy TKO.
I appreciate it, man.
And yeah, man, freaking just what a day. What a day.
Yeah.
We got NXT tonight. The Hardys will be on there. Holy shit.
Yup. Lot coming out. Ricky Saints and Javon Evans taking on Wesley and Ethan Page. Yep.
So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, we get to see Ricky Saints in action.
We saw Obafemi on TNA.
So we'll probably get some more of the system coming over to NXT.
Yeah, it should be a good episode of NXT, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it a stream. Thank you all for joining us. If you're not subscribed, click subscribe. If you're watching live on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or TikTok, shout out to you guys. And much love. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.